We are. Okay, so we're going to go over how to add an organization. So before we do that, show you how to search an organization. Make sure you're not adding something that's already in the database. So you can use this filter over on the right to select a state, figure out where you want to search the organization, or you can just search their name up here. You can also search date added, who it might be assigned to. That user assigned is not necessarily accurate just yet. And you can also select whether or not it has a contract. And you can also select that up here, and it'll filter by facilities only that have a contract. My organizations is just ones that you've added into the CRM, so it's not always going to be accurate on the ones that you're working with. So say you want to search up a facility, search in like the first name of it. Normally, if you type in just the first 3 letters, it's not going to pop up until you get the whole word. Then when you're looking at the organization, you can click on it. It'll pull out this tab to show you the details about the organization. You want to make sure it has a phone number, an address, and right here, this is incorrect actually, but it's supposed to have the payment terms for the facility. If there's anything missing there, don't just assume that you know what it is. Just contact our contracts administrator, and then she'll tell you what information you can put in there, or she'll go fill it out herself. I don't know the exact date, but this was sometime in December. And then you can save it. And then if you wanted to see the contacts that are at the facility, you'll notice right here that you are unable to add any contacts specifically. So we'll go over that in a minute. Here you can also look at activities. If you click add, whenever you call a facility using the number that's associated with it, so you have to make sure that the contacts are in there correctly with their phone numbers as well, so that if you call someone at the hospital, it still logs as an activity under here, so people don't call the same facility you're working with and think that nobody's contacting them. So when you're leaving notes or when you make a phone call, it's going to show like an outbound call. Here was logged, here was logged. We'll be able to tell if you left a voicemail because it'll be, short like this, like a minute and a half, 43 seconds, what have you. And if you want to add an additional activity, if you got some more information that you think is important or you spoke to somebody, click activity type here. We have one for leaving voicemail. It's pretty self-explanatory. If you set a meeting for a senior recruiter, and then when that senior recruiter conducts the meeting, you want to create another activity and log everything that was there. And then when a contract is involved, when it's sent or executed, or you're following up on the status of it, if it's pending, meaning it's going through the legal processes or needs to get approved by somebody else, you can click that as well. And then if it's been rejected, select that. And then another option we have is to check in. You can use that for current clients or for potential clients that said, hey, we're not really interested right now, but we want to maybe look into this after, and you're reaching back out to them again, you can click that one. And then if you're receiving a job order, you want to select this option and then put the details of the job order in there. Just try to be clear and concise as possible while still providing all the important details. So if you get information about what's going on with the position, what shift it is, if the pay is competitive or not, if you get specific pay ranges, you want to include that in there. If you left a voicemail and it's already logged pretty much in call there, but you want to leave some details about how many people you left a voicemail for or who you maybe left it with if you don't have the rest of their contact information or you got transferred to them so you can't add them as a contact just yet, then you can include that there. And then additionally, for like major information, it wasn't used like that before. We had an issue where we couldn't log activities for a minute, so you'll see some notes that are also activities. And then I've used this before, like you'll see this note here back in February where I made it a place where whenever I had current job orders with that facility, I would put them in the notes so that way they were right there, right in the front so that people could see what was available. And then you can click requisitions. You'll be able to see current available ads that we have for that facility. And you can click on those requisitions. It'll take you to the requisitions tab. Be able to click the pipeline from there and everything else. And if you want to add a facility, say that it wasn't in here, you go to add organization, you type the name of the organization, and you type in the address. And it'll normally like pull up the rest of the information for you. Click the specialty. And it also, this is a good function that we added to where you can't add the address for multiple hospitals to avoid duplicates being made. So if you notice that happened, it means that there's probably another facility in there with the same address. So go check and see if maybe it's under a different name. If it was, acquired recently or had a name change happen, then it might just have a different name in the CRM, but be for the same facility, and then you can update the existing organization. So then you'll type in the specialty that they are. Normally it's hospital. If it's an outpatient clinic, you could type that as well. Outpatient PT clinic. I should learn how to spell. And then you type in the phone number of the main hospital line, which you can get from Google normally, or someone gives you a better line to get to the hospital. Sometimes it's not accurate, but 99% of the time it is. Then you want to include, I know that these aren't mandatory, but you want to include what the organization's website URL is. So just a link here to get to their main page, and you want to see how many beds they are. So you can go to the American Hospital Directory. One. You can type in the name of the hospital. So if I typed in the one I used earlier, Iroquois Memorial. So most of the time before you finish typing it in, it'll tell you how many beds there are. This is normally pretty accurate, so you can include that information in there. Log it so people know how big the facility is. Annual revenue, you don't need to include that. And then if there is a contingency agreement with it, you can include these details as well. And you'll click save on the bottom right, and that organization will be added into the CRM. And it'll normally be the first organization. It'll pop up right here as the most recent one added in there.